then it comes, you end up, funds depleted, and you don't have anything to show for it at the end when you run against the real opponent. Would you, starting with Neil, would you give me 2 things you like about Morgan? And then we're going to return that favor here, because we are on the same side of the aisle. And this question is, there will be 1 minute, 2 minute, and 3-minute questions. This is a 1-minute question.
So he's tall, dark, and handsome.
Yeah, there's the plug it. Yeah, you got to flip the switch there.
So I don't know if you heard that. My joke was, he's tall, dark, and handsome. Actually, funny enough, we probably could get confused for one another pretty easily. But a couple of things that are compliments about Morgan. The first one is Morgan is a individual of character, and he's sincere. You can tell that by when he speaks. And then also the other thing is, you can also tell that he has a dear love for our country and our Constitution, and that shows in his comments.
You know, I met somebody the other day and they were comparing Neil and I, and finally they said, but he's taller. So,
I am.
Very simple. Neil, I'm very impressed with him. His knowledge of finance, but more importantly, I've been impressed by his attention to family. And to me, that is critically important. Everywhere he goes, his family is with him. That's a good sign. It's a sign of a man of integrity and a sign of a man of character.
Okay, thank you. Okay, now we'll get on to the real debate here. We're going to give each of you 3 minutes to introduce yourself, your platform, and what you would like this audience to know about you and your background. And we're going to start with Morgan this time.
About 12 years ago, I came home from an internship in Washington, D.C. My wife and I, who's in the back, her name is Natalie, she's holding our young son, Isaiah. We had no children at the time. It was an internship under the Clinton and Gore White House. I was incredibly disappointed. We called the Republican Party. They said, point us to our meeting, our caucus meeting, which many of you just attended. And we became Republicans, and we got active within the Republican Party of Utah. 2 years later, I found myself running for the state legislature in a seat that no one thought a Republican would ever win again. And thanks to the hard work of my wife and many volunteers and our walking that district for about 4 months, we won that seat. And I held it for 4 years before I left to go to law school. I challenged then one notion which was always posed to me. Moderate your principles and moderate your message. If you do not, you cannot win this seat again. I challenged that notion. I fundamentally reject it and held that seat as one of the most conservative legislators in the Utah House. I believe we win as Republicans and as conservatives and as constitutionalists by standing for what is right and by fighting to make what is right popular. There are 3 things we must do. Cut the size of the federal government, cut taxes, and return state lands into state hands. If we do not do those things, we will never recover our economy. I'd like to explore that more with you tonight, but I hope that your questions delve into some of what that means and what needs to be done.
So I grew up here. I'm from St. George. I grew up over in Santa Clara, and I went to Dixie State College and earned an associate's degree there. I then transferred to BYU. I earned a bachelor's of science in finance at BYU. I married my wife, Michelle. Shortly after, we lived in Utah County for a couple of years, and then we went to Carnegie Mellon University in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, where I earned a degree in finance. We then relocated to Houston, where I worked in the energy industry, and I priced natural gas and power contracts. We were kind of minding our own business, so to speak. We were like a lot of youth who have been exported from our state, pursuing jobs and careers, when my father had a heart attack. Our family's owned real estate companies in southern Utah for a number of years, and so in 2005, my wife and I and our family, we moved home to help out with the real estate business. I told my dad I'd help out on one condition. I had to have some flexibility to work over the college, and so in this fall of 2006, I started teaching freshman economics, and for the last couple of years I've taught freshman economics, upper division finance. The finance courses I teach most frequently are entrepreneur and real estate finance. I'm here because as a president of a homeowners association, my neighbors are still losing their homes. We lost 15 out of 85 homes last year. My students can't find jobs, and in fact we have a real serious problem with 25 and under unemployment rates in this country, which are starting to look like Europe's. And then on top of that, our small business clients and our commercial real estate brokerage are really struggling still. And we have to have a change of agenda in this country. It is not negotiable. The financial precipice that we found ourselves on is at a tipping point, and we have to change course. Ultimately, if we do not, we are set to follow the course of Argentina, Russia, others that have defaulted on their debt, and today we're looking at Greece as an example of what happens when we do not deal with the fiscal problems that our country is faced with today. Ultimately, my background is in economics and finance and energy and education, and my skills can be a real strength in dealing with those problems, and that's why I'm here.
Okay, thank you. Some of these questions we're going to hit real quick and short.